Okay, what is up, guys? Vapor Sky here. Today we're going to be doing a Clapton build. We're going to be going in depth with a 22 gauge core, 34 gauge nichrome Clapton. For this build, you're going to need 22 gauge kanthal, 34 gauge nichrome, pliers, wire cutters, 3mm screwdriver, some ceramic tweezers. Coil jig is optional, but you gotta be careful when doing Claptons with that because it can take off the outer wrap. And of course, for Claptons, you're gonna need a drill with a standard chuck on it. Also have an ohm reader ready and some cotton. Put that 22 gauge kanthal in the center of the chuck, grip down the end with the pliers, grip tight, and apply some tension, spin it up. Your 22 gauge core is straightened. Bunch up your nichrome, wrap it at the end. Put that in the center of the chuck so it's anchored down when you spin it. Tighten down the chuck. Grip the nichrome with your fingers and just feed it onto the 22 gauge, applying tension, very important. And try to make those wraps tight but not overlapping. If they're loose, then you can tidy them up, but it will leave more work in a second. So just go as fast as you're comfortable. It doesn't have to be perfect, just try your best to make them tight, and you can always fix it after you're done wrapping it. Here's our messy Clapton here, kind of. It's not too great. It's because I was stopping to film and all that, and I wasn't paying the most attention to it, but we can fix that up right now. Clip your wire, the end of your wire, grab it with some tweezer or pliers, and just kind of pull that core while pushing in the wrap. Look how much we've already tidied it up there. That's a lot more tight already. Run your fingers down it, at least that's what I do, and just kind of push all that loose wire towards the base, the chuck, and once it's tightened up, slide the pliers down so that it's only gripping the core but preventing the wrap from recoiling. Then you can grab another tool like these tweezers, just kind of go down it like shown, and make sure to keep those pliers right at the end of that wrap so it doesn't recoil. Go ahead and crimp it, just bend it, and then with the flat part of your pliers, grip it really hard so it doesn't recoil. Take it off the chuck, you can clip it, you can take it out, whatever. I clipped it at the part where I messed up, then do the same, crimp it. And there's your tight wire. Look at that Clapton, looks pretty good. And here we can see an up-close look at that pinched off part. Here's the other one. So I calculated with steam engine that the 22 gauge core and the 34 gauge wrap with nichrome should be about, each coil should be 0.36 coming out to around 0.17, 0.18 with dual coils. So when you're wrapping your Clapton, I recommend not using a coil jig because it can pull off the outer wrap when you're finished. You really got to make sure to make them very, very tight. Now, if you don't make them tight, you'll notice that they're pretty springy, and they are a terrible, terrible time to try to get those things tight once they're already wrapped. But you can fix it if you don't make them tight enough like I did. Go ahead and grip one end with your finger, pull up and out like shown here, and just tighten up that coil. Twist, grip, and pull up. Not too bad, looking pretty good already, and we can still glow them and make them even tighter. Using the Kennedy 24 today, one of my favorite RDAs, lots of build room, and it's just a great vape. Go ahead and push the coil into the post holes and tighten down the negative. Also, make sure that you bend your leads so that the coil is centered. Go ahead and push your other coil in there. Kind of a little bit of a hard time on the 24. You might even have to pull a little bit on that positive lead because the post holes are surprisingly small. But anyway, go ahead and make the coils an equal distance from the center. Make them over the airflow holes. Tighten those screws down. Okay, it's all tightened down. Go ahead and mess with those coils a little bit more. Make them equal height, equal distance from the center. Clip your leads and go ahead and glow them. Pinch and glow, you know how it goes. Pinch and glow till they're going evenly and they are tight. And I had to move to my reload because my 521 tab stopped working. But that's not the point. Anyway, pinch and glow as you can see, and boom, they are glowing evenly, brightly. They are ready to wick. 0.17, exactly what we want. I like to just cut out some cotton, shave off the top layers with my fingers, twist the end, and go ahead and put that right in the coil. Should have a good amount of resistance, but not move the coil, but it should fill up the coil. Cut your cotton, should be about 28 millimeters, just got to make sure it's a little bit longer than the 24, and then fluff it up. Then what I like to do is just, with the cotton all fluffed up, kind of just push it in bottom up, so tuck in the bottom, and then go to the top. So it's all pushed in there, still fluffy, and it's not stuffed down into the juice well. Saturate it in juice. Pulse it so you kind of dry out that cotton just to break it in. Guys, we are back. So, I have this build right now on my rouleau. I was using it on my mech mod, which is the Rig V1. It's been firing kind of weird, and now it's not firing consistently. Let's go ahead and not wait any longer. Let's go ahead and vape this. So is this juiced? It's very juiced. I've got a King's Crest Duchess Reserve, and it's alright, but I mean, let's not go into the juice. 0.17 as we went over, 3.32 volts at 65 watts. Yeah, it's a really, really great vape. Like, it's better than you would have with a round wire, so much better. With this Clapton build, brings out all of the characteristics of the juice. Like, there's little flavors thrown in some of these juices that you wouldn't taste with a round wire. Put it on a Clapton, you'll taste all the little complexities of the juice. Just the flavor is phenomenal, and the vapor is hot, dense, flavorful, as I've said. You really can't beat it. There's a huge difference between a Clapton and a round wire build. So, for this build, I like 55 to 65 watts. I've been vaping this build for about 2 weeks. Great, great build. Probably my favorite to date.